In terms of road signs, Rhonda, we saw a lot of different ones there. Do you find in learning that they're clear enough? Do people have problems with our road signs here? I know we maybe have problems with getting lost, but actually rules of the road?
Yeah, I've quite a few people who don't see road signs, who
At all?
wear blinkers and don't see the road signs.
Is that their fault or the signs?
It would be because they wouldn't be in a habit of reading anything that would be out there, whether posters or signs, and so road signs come under that. And then you've got antiquated language in road signs like yield. A lot of people don't know what yield means, never mind being able to recognise it when it's a block word in capital letters.
It's not a word we'd use in everyday language?
No. And an awful lot of people, if you asked them what the word yield meant, they wouldn't know. And hence they go out onto the main roads from side roads not knowing that they're supposed to slow down and wait for traffic to pass.
That should be changed then, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
What would you change it to?
Give way, or give way would probably be language that people would be familiar with.
Do you think rules of the road and driver theory and such related topics are now available in adult learning centres, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
And are there many people doing them?
There are quite a number of people doing them, and the way they are taught in learning centres reflects the way the driver theory test is taken, so that they use electronic media often, not always, or sometimes both old-fashioned methods and electronic media, so that you have an opportunity to practice your rules of the road in the exact same way as you will be tested on the rules of the road. So you can learn at your own pace, you can spend as long as you like at a section you're not familiar with, and you have you have tutor support as well.
Yeah. Well, if you'd like to know more about any of the topics we're discussing on today's really useful guide, there's a free workbook which has some exercises and pointers to help you. To get your free pack, you can free phone the number on your screen, 1800 20 20 65. That's 1800 20 20 65. Or you can visit our website, www.rug.ie. You know the way you can now read newspapers on the internet? Do you think, is that a useful learning tool for students as well?
Definitely. If you look at the RTE.ie website, they have, it's not a newspaper, but their news is on the website. You actually can hear the radio news. You can read shortened versions and longer versions of the news. All the newspapers would have a shortened version, and you click on a link to read the longer version. Yeah. So, and the other thing is that you could marry, say, the spoken news with the reading news, so that you could listen to the news, see what articles actually interested you.
There are advantages to both.
There are advantages to both. Yeah.
Well, more so than radio or television, newspapers communicate with the variety of the communities they serve. Some have neighbourhoods, as in the case of regional newspapers, and a reader has total control over the content, including the ability to skip and skim and select, read backwards, tear out and ignore stories that just don't interest them. Whether you're into politics, movie listings, fashion stories or horoscopes, here are some more pointers on how to read your newspaper.
We choose the articles we want to read in a newspaper by looking at the headlines. Then the first paragraph usually gives the main points of the article so that we can decide if we want to go ahead and read the rest. You don't have to understand every single word in an article to understand the general story, but from time to time you may come across a word you don't understand and you'd like to know what it means. Let's say you come across this word. The words around it can help you understand it. I have a something condition. You might guess from the word condition that we're talking about someone's health. You could try saying the word aloud.
Cardiac.
When you say it aloud, you might recognize it, or you might decide to look it up in a dictionary. So cardiac means connected with the heart or heart disease. So a cardiac condition is the same as a heart condition. If you're still not sure of a word, you could write it down and ask a family member, a friend, or your tutor for help. As well as entertaining and informing us, newspapers can be a really useful way to learn new words.
Well, automatic teller machines are now a way of life here. They're often the only way to conduct some banking activities due to branch closures and the increase in face-to-face transaction fees. If you don't know how to work an ATM machine, or the hole in the wall as we call it, don't worry. Here's a really useful guide which will reveal all.
You need money and the bank is closed, so your best bet is to find an ATM to get money out. ATMs, or bank machines, can be found in the main streets of most towns and cities throughout Ireland. So what does ATM stand for? AIB Bank ATM representative Melissa Gallagher tells us.
ATM stands for an automated teller machine. It's also referred to as a hole in the wall. That's not entirely true now, as we have so many ATMs installed in supermarkets, shops and filling stations.
So what are the advantages of using ATMs?
Well, there's several advantages of using the ATM. It's fast and it's easy to use. It's convenient, which means that you can withdraw money from your account when you want to, which means that you don't have to carry loads of money around with you.
I use ATM to take out cash when I get paid, just different when I need money for stuff.
More so for if I need cash quick, or if I need to pay a bill, or pay off if you have an overdraft or anything like that, like straight into the ATM.
The majority of cards issued by Irish banks carry an international branding, which means that you can use the card at home or abroad.
An ATM has a slot in which to put in your card, a screen which shows you information and instructions, and a number keypad which allows you to enter information. Every ATM is slightly different. Some ask you to leave the card in, and some ask you to insert and remove the card. It's important to take your time and read the on-screen instructions carefully. The first thing to do is to check the screen for any messages. Sometimes you'll see a warning about ATM fraud. Just wait until you see the text that tells you to put your card in the slot. Like here, please insert your card. Next, you need to enter your personal identification number, also known as your PIN. Since there has been a bit of ATM fraud, it's a good idea to cover the keypad when you're entering your PIN number, so no one can see. The X's on screen are there so no one can see what number you enter. Your PIN is a secret 4-digit number that the bank sends out to you, and you can't use it unless you know it. To keep your PIN number secret, you should make sure that you learn it off by heart and that you don't write it down anywhere. If you find it hard to remember the PIN number the bank sent you, you can usually change it to a number that you won't forget. Maybe a year or someone's birthday. Once you have entered your PIN number, you'll see a screen with a list of options. Every ATM is different, but normally you'll see options for cash withdrawal, balance inquiry, PIN services, order mini or full statement, and mobile phone top-up. If you want to check how much money you have in your bank, you should select balance inquiry. You will then be asked to choose which type is your account. Here the account is a current account. In this case, the balance is €317.71. The letters CR stand for credit. Next, you go back to the main screen and select the cash withdrawal option. Now you need to tell the ATM how much money you want to take out. The easiest way to do this is to click one of the amounts that is listed. In this case, you want to take out €20, so you just select that option from the list. The ATM can't give you that amount. Often, ATMs will run out of smaller banknotes and only be able to give out €50 notes. That's probably what's happened here. So let's see if we can take out €50. Press the correct button, and there you go. That seems to have worked fine. In support of a cleaner environment, some ATMs ask you whether or not you want a receipt. If you don't want a receipt, select the Continue option. Next, the ATM returns your card and makes a beeping noise to remind you to remove it, and then counts out your money, which takes a few moments. Once you get your money from the machine, it's a good idea to check that the ATM has given you the correct amount. In this case, you have been given a €50 note, which is just what you asked for.
There's usually one wherever you are, it's just it's handy to use them.
taking out cash, like whenever I get paid. Just basically that's it, checking my balance, that kind of thing.
When you use an ATM for the first time, you might find it helpful to get a friend or family member to talk you through it. And when you get the hang of it, you can help someone else out by showing them how to do it. Teaching someone like this is a great way of learning something even better for yourself. There's even a saying for this: he who teaches learns twice.
Opening a bank account takes a certain amount of literacy skills as well, doesn't it? Is there help?
Quite often people in the bank would be helpful, and it depends really how aware they are of somebody's lack of reading and writing skills. And it depends, I suppose, on how many people are in the bank, but they are becoming much more helpful about that, and quite often will help you fill in the form if you're really necessary.
Great. And do your students find that as well, Anne?
Absolutely. I was just looking there at your clip, and it occurs to me that there actually is an online ATM at moneymatterstome.com where you can practice using an ATM before you go to the machine. So
and without a queue behind you.
And without a queue behind you. So someone at your local learning centre might help you do that and give you an opportunity to work up your courage to go to the bank machine.
That's brilliant. Well, thanks very much. And that's all we have time for today. We'd like to thank both of our guests for coming in. To Rhonda Smith, thanks a million, and also Anne Knox. Join us in a few weeks' time when we'll be looking at booking flights online and finding out how to set up an email account. In the meantime, here are the contact details again to get hold of your free student workbook that goes with the series.
For your free student pack and workbook, free phone 1800 20 20 65. That's 1800 20 20 65. Or you can go online and visit www.rug.ie or write to The Really Useful Guide to Words and Numbers, care of Nala, 76 Lower Gardner Street, Dublin 1.